Hi, I'm Dr. Elliot Adam from ElliotOracle.com. I'm also the author of the award winning Fearless Tarot and Tarot in Love Consulting the Cards and Matters of the Heart. Both books are published by Llewellyn Books and they're available online wherever books are sold. And it is time for this week's Oracle reveal. So, earlier on my social media, I released a photo of three different animals and I asked you to use your intuition and ask yourself which animal seems to be calling to you because that animal has your message. And the three animals were the dragonfly, the bat, and the wolf. So if you're just joining me now, ask yourself in your mind what animal seems to be calling to you. It doesn't have to be your favorite animal, it just has to be the one that seems to be nudging at your attention right now. So, for those of you who picked the dragonfly animal spirit, dragonfly is truly a magical creature with its iridescent wings, its ability to move forwards and backwards and zip through the air. And what the dragonfly is an illusionist. And when we're attracted to dragonfly, this could be a time where you're really identifying what the illusions are in your own life. Sometimes our illusions help us get by. Sometimes they help us assimilate in a daily situation or help us just pass through life. But it's important that you're conscious when you're employing them. And so, if you're attracted to the dragonfly, this could be a time when you're calling yourself out on things that you might be doing to shield yourself from what you're truly feeling or who you authentically are. So I just feel like it's time to dispel the illusion with the dragonfly and use that magic of that element of air, your conscious mind, to manifest new things for you when you gain that clarity and understanding. First card for Dragonfly is where is it best for you to place your focus this next week? And we get the Four of Swords. And the Four of Swords in the tarot is a card of rest, solitude, exile, and retreat. It's also a card of convalescence and healing. And hidden in the stained glass window, way up in the corner, it might be difficult to see, is the word Pax, P-A-X, which is Latin for peace. And so this is a week where it's so important, if you're attracted to the dragonfly, to focus on restoring peace in your life. Maybe the illusion that you're needing to dispel is the very thing that's keeping you from feeling at peace in yourself. And sometimes we reach for something external to keep the illusion, to keep the thing up. And yet it divorces us from that sense of inner peace and authenticity. And I just feel with this Four of Swords, find a moment, find some time this next week to go within, to cut off from others, to retreat, and to hear the quiet, still voice of your own inner wisdom again. That's going to help you lead toward your equilibrium. And also, this is just a time of healing for Dragonfly as well, whenever we see the Four of Swords. The advice from your inner wisdom, if we see the dragonfly, there is the devil card. And a lot of people gasp when they see the devil because no one wants to confront this archetype generally. The devil represents our shadows. He represents the lies we tell ourselves. And in keeping with that whole dragonfly imagery this week, this could be a time when you're facing your own shadows. You know, everyone's got an angel on their shoulder and everyone's also got a devil on their shoulder too. We all got that voice that's positive and it's light and love and transcendence and limitlessness. And then we all have that other voice as well that tells us that we're stuck, that we can't change something, that we might as well just stay in hell with the devil because there isn't any hope for us and we should just listen to our fears. And yet, this is the very week for you, Dragonfly, where it's time to call the lie out. It's time to dispel any illusions that are keeping you in a state of suffering. You know, even the figures on the devil's throne, they're wearing chains that are loose, meaning they can slip out of them when they choose. And the power of your choice is a power. And this is going to really give you the ability to leave behind anything that's been limiting you up until now. And for everybody, the devil is different. Everybody has a different manifestation of that shadow, but the devil is always the father of lies. And so this is a time to call out any lies you're telling to yourself. And it's also a time to really seek out the light within you. Sometimes in order to know the light, we have to kind of visit those dark places. And both of these cards are ones of retreat into the shadow, into the dark. In the case of the resting of the Four of Swords, but also in the case of the devil. And it's so interesting too, just seeing these two archetypes next to each other. There's a little hint of the Hierophant or the High Priest card in the Four of Swords, because also in that stained glass window is that priest. And so there really is this sense that you're kind of sifting through both the light and the shadow. And the mythic archetype that's going to help you this next week appropriately is Erebos or Nyx. And in ancient Greece, Nyx was the darkness, the night. And the quote on the card says, "I trust the light of my soul in times of darkness." And so, for Dragonfly this week, if you're experiencing a time of darkness, just know that there's a little starlight in your soul that's going to lead you out of that dark place every time. It's also important for you to trust in that light and to really look for it, search for it. This might be a time when you're kind of pulling back all the things that have been keeping you in a state of darkness up until now. There is something tremendous happening for Dragonfly this next week. It has to do with healing, but it also has to do with facing your fears, facing your lies, facing your illusions, and really accepting and loving yourself, warts and all. Next, we're going to go into the bat animal spirit, and in that same vein with the bat of embracing the shadow and transformation. Bat is nocturnal. It's that flying mammal that comes out of the cave in the evening. And if you're attracted to bat, this could be a time of deep rebirth and renewal for you. An old way has died. A new way is trying to be born right now. And yes, you do have to enter the shadow of the cave, much like the dragonfly was learning as well. But in the case of the bat, this is a time where it's really emphasizing the rebirth aspect. So this could be a time when you're revitalizing or finding your way back after a period of sort of searching through the dark. First card for bat is, where is it best for you to place your focus this next week? We get Justice reversed, which is very interesting because, Justice upright is an archetype of truth, honesty, and clarity. When Justice comes up reversed, it can be a card that really makes you look at what isn't true for you anymore. Justice is all about, upright or reversed, reclaiming equilibrium in your life. And what might have been true for you in an older incarnation of yourself might not be true anymore. This might be a time when you're really reinventing yourself or letting go of old patterns, old ways of looking at things or believing. Also, Justice reverse can come up sometimes when we feel something is unfair. When we look out at the world or in our lives and we say, how can this happen? This isn't fair. This isn't just. This shouldn't be. And yet, Justice is telling us that life isn't always fair. Or sometimes every moment of our life isn't fair. I'm a true believer in karma and that eventually, in time, things tend to balance out. And although in the immediate term, we might look at something in our lives and look at something that seems so egregiously unfair or wrong, and yet we're making that judgment in that moment, and we're not letting the karmic scales find their alignment. And so I just feel like this card is saying, be patient, bide your time, work on focusing on restoring the equilibrium within you, as maybe you're waiting for that external equilibrium to be reasserted as well. The next card is going to be advice from your inner wisdom. And look at that, we got the World card, a beautiful card for rebirth and renewal. The World is saying that you're finishing up a major chapter in your life. Not a chapter, actually, like a volume. There is something huge that's transforming with you. And there's a sense of mastery. You might have had to master some lessons in life that have to do with being treated unfairly, or having to stomach something that just doesn't smell right or doesn't seem like it's in your favor. And yet the World card is saying you're done now. It's time to complete the circle. It's time to finish the old cycle. Maybe it's time to stop revisiting this old thing that you're not letting go of. The World is saying there's bigger and better things ahead for you. But first you have to let go of the past. And sometimes we can't get the satisfaction of seeing just desserts served immediately. And so we have to walk away in an act of faith that the universe is just going to work it out. And this is going to be one of those times where you're like, you know what? I can't control this thing. I've been thinking about it. I've been, going in my head about it over and over in circles, and it is out of my power control for now. I'm going to move on to my best life, to what I need to focus on to make myself whole or to transcend these old challenges. And that will lead you toward that equilibrium. And then finally, the mythic archetype that's going to help you is arete, or virtue. Arete in ancient Greek means excellence. And the goddess of excellence, her card says, I give the best of myself in everything that I do. And so if arete is coming up, I almost feel like it's saying, let your best self show up to this moment in your life. Why don't you be your best self for yourself right now? Instead of worrying about the world meeting you where you're at or trying to provide its best to you, this could be a time where you're showing up as your best in it. And sometimes these small changes are the first little flap of the butterfly wing that ends up being the maelstrom the next year as it kicks around the earth and the winds build. So I just feel like this is a time of starting, new beginnings, entering a new phase. And it's time to show up with your best self because that's all you got control over. And then finally, we got the wolf animal spirit. And the wolf, here in this card, it's lovely. It's like a little pack of wolves. And if you're attracted to wolf this next week, this could be a time to seek out your tribe, your community, your pack. The wolf is the teacher of the animal kingdom. So this could be a time as well where you're attracted to somebody else's teachings, or perhaps you're playing the role of teacher to others, bringing what you know to the table. But this is a time to seek out others if you're attracted to wolf this next week. First card for wolf is where is it best for you to place your focus, and we get the Eight of Swords reversed. Seems like a little theme going on this next week for each animal, that this is a time to release yourself from a state of suffering. When the Eight of Swords comes up reverse, you're wriggling out of the old mental traps that you're less than you truly are. You're starting to call yourself out on old beliefs that were keeping you limited or scared or afraid. The blindfold is coming off and you're starting to see your life with clear new eyes. And that is what you want to keep moving toward. You don't want to go back to the darkness, to the old way of looking at this. This is a time for you to be brave and be in this moment and to see what truly is. And, Eight of Swords reversed is really a card of you coming out of something that's kept you bound in fear, scared or stuck or passive in some way. And now it's time for you to take action by being conscious. So where it's best for you to place your focus is on that empowering step of letting go of those old bindings that have kept you stuck. And when we couple that with the wolf energy, maybe that's because you're being in service to your community or your pack. Or maybe it's because you're seeking out support from those who are of like mind or who are supportive of you. The advice from your inner wisdom this next week, if we picked the wolf, is the Ace of Pentacles. And the Ace of Pentacles is telling you that a new doorway of opportunity is opening for you right now. This could be sometimes a card that represents, because Pentacles in the tarot are, finances, money for a lot of readers, a new opportunity with work, your career. Might be a time where you're really focusing on how you're serving your community through what you're doing, through your actions, professionally speaking. But more than just money, for me, Pentacles is really about values. It's about what you value. And a new wonderful opportunity is opening for you, much like the little gateway in the bottom of the card of the Ace of Pentacles. A doorway's opening, a doorway out of the old way. And this is going to be a time where you're really embracing what you truly value. And also, next to that Eight of Swords reverse, this is a time to really rediscover what you value in yourself and to affirm that thing. Because when you value you, other people can see what you're talking about, what you're believing. And when you're really seeing yourself as worthy, suddenly golden opportunities start to just pop up. When we're stuck in that kind of mental spiral of Eight of Swords upright, where we're trapped or scared or afraid or stuck, it might feel like opportunities are eluding us around every corner. So I just feel like it's time to get the ball rolling with looking at where your new opportunities are and get out of any old mental patterns or habits that are keeping you scared or stuck. And then finally, the mythic archetype that's going to help you is Hephaestus. How appropriate, the craftsman of the gods. His card says, awareness of my flaws generates the insight to build my strengths. And that's fitting. You know, Hephaestus was the disabled god, the one whose legs didn't work. And he was judged for that by all the perfect gods. You know, they would laugh at him in the beginning. But much like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, you know, he comes around and ends up having this wonderful talent for creating the most magical things. And even that made people stop judging on the surface and lets that inner beauty come forth. I just feel like this is going to be a time for you to really access your inner beauty and also embrace whatever you perceive as a flaw. Because what you might be perceiving as a flaw might be actually the thing that fuels your greatest gift. It also makes you more relatable, more loved, really, when people see that you're not just this perfect image, but that there's something really going on within. And that is this week's Oracle. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can always schedule a one-on-one tarot session with me, and you can do that at elliotoracle.com. I'd love to do a reading for you and find out what my cards have to say about you and your particular situation. Also, if you find my videos useful or helpful, why not share them with a friend? And also, liking and subscribing to my channel really helps this community grow. I do hope you have a wonderful week, whatever it is that you're all doing, and that you do embrace the light within you, even if you've had to face some pretty scary shadows up until now. Just know that the side of yourself that you fuel is the one that's going to get stronger. So it's in your interest to really look at what's brightest within you. And with that, I hope you all show up this next week with your most excellent self, and I will see you again here next week. So do take care.